So I was introduced to Neville Goddard via dark journalist Daniel Lizst and Miss Olivia. I was watching a dark journalist videocast and they talked about Neville Goddard on that videocast, just briefly, just mentioned his name about as a new thinker and the work that he did through his New Think work back in the mid-20th century. And when I researched into Neville Goddard, I began to realize that so many people within the wellness movement, fixing the camera, so many people within the wellness movement actually plagiarize Neville Goddard's work, and they don't cite it, and they make money from it, which is, to me, abhorrent. I mean, it's all very well to make a living, but you know, I've said this before in other videos, to me the whole idea of the wellness coaching process and the wellness coaching and the life coaching process, it just seems like it's another business opportunity, a business fad, and I see there's a market for it for some people that need to have that kind of, or choose to have that experience where they want to be coached by somebody how to find the best way they can possibly live their best life. And that's an opportunity for people to make money and to help people, of course, and be of service to people. But if you're going to be of service to someone and then you're not going to cite where you got your information from, especially if it isn't your idea that you're not bringing forth, and if you look at Neville Goddard's work and you listen to it and you read it, you realize so many people today are literally talking about what he talks about, and they're not citing it, and they're making money from it. Whereas I could direct you to a website where you could listen to Neville Goddard speak on YouTube. I could send you to, and I will post on this as a link on this video. I think it's an AI produced website, YouTube channel where that has Neville Goddard's talking. There's lectures, maybe it could be AI produced, but I think there was lectures. I'm pretty sure that's Neville Goddard's lectures, and he tells you exactly the processes that people can use to embody the techniques that he talked about and lectured about in order to create manifestation, in order to create health, abundance, financial abundance, to live your best life, right? To live your best life without a lot of the religious context, which he also talked about in regards to the use of the Bible, right, and his work around that as well. But it's all there for people to look at for free. And then the real work begins when you actually do it yourself. That's the whole idea of it. It gives you the tools to use, and you do it yourself, and it costs you nothing but time and energy, to what you put your energy and your time into to create and manifest the life that you want. But the real work begins as well, as much as there is the understanding of Neville Goddard's work and how to use it and the processes of using his work. The real work begins when you actually start to do it and you embody it, right? And that might come to a point where also, for me, for example, for my processes with Neville Goddard's work, I've been practicing the whole idea of feeling the feeling of having that which I want to create in my life, the feeling of already having it, right? That's the most important teaching, I think, of Neville Goddard's. And my friend Tabash years ago told me the same thing. He said, look, if you want to, the whole idea of manifestation is to have the feeling and the emotion behind already knowing and walking in your life, living your life like you've already got everything you've ever wanted, right? And embodying that in a way that you truly are, resonating out that awareness, that emotion, that experience out into the field of awareness, and therefore you're faking it till you make it, so to speak, but not really, because you're living it, you're embodying it within your own being. And by doing that, the universe, as a mirror for your interior world, can only respond to what you feel inside yourself. But the real work can come with the limitations that we have around conditioning. That's one of the most important aspects I've learned over the years in my personal experience with conscious awakening, is the knowledge that through my own conditioning, my own deep levels of conditioning in my subconscious, through the programming I had as a child and what I saw, experienced, my traumas have kept me in a place of limitation. So therefore for me, with Neville Goddard's work, I'm chipping away, and have been chipping away for many years, around the awareness to find out, discover what my limitations are, my subconscious programming, which keeps me from manifesting in my life that which I really want to manifest, right? So therefore, for me, with Neville Goddard's work, what I'm doing, for me, is doing incremental feelings. How does it feel to be in a position that I am truly embodying everything that I want to have in my life, man, in my life? How does it feel to be in a situation where I'm experiencing that which I've always wanted to experience? How does it feel to be in a place where I'm living my best life in regards to love, finance, abundance, freedom? How does it feel to have all those experiences? And I've lived my life many times in my life. Have I lived an experience where I've felt those feelings? And what I've experienced by feeling that is a world where I'm existing in, where I have all those things and so much more, because I'm embodying them and I'm feeling them. And therefore the resonance that I have in regards to the reflection of you combing the mirror, which is the universe in front of you, because your internal world is a reflection, is reflected back at you by your external world. What I've experienced naturally is that internal world reflected back at me in my external world. But often I'll get tripped up by experiences and by things that happen for me, and when they happen for me, I get lost in the stories, right? There's a great story that my friend Shikar told me about living with Babaji in Kula in India many years ago, where she was in the ashram and trying to get the attention of one particular individual who she ended up marrying 40 years later. And when she told me the story, she was telling Babaji about the story, the guru that she was living with in the ashram, about her story, trying to get its attention of this particular individual. And Babaji just sat there and smiled at her the whole time with his divine enlightened presence. And at the end of her vitriol, I guess you could say, at the end of her talk, end of her complaint, he just said to her, white paper and black ink, you write your own story. What story do you want to create? And that's a really important aspect to look at. And Neville Goddard talks about the same thing as well in regards to what do you want to create and how do you want to go about creating it. Well, you go about creating it, you follow his work. I'm not in any way telling you what his work is. I think it's really important that people go and discover for yourself what his work is, and you read about what his work. But I'm paraphrasing it and I'm condensing into, I guess in some ways, into a shorter version of what he explains in lectures about, is that you literally are embodying that which you feel, and you're feeling emotion, which you already got it. You already have it. And you walk, talk, you think, and you feel as if you have everything you always wanted. And you embody that. And you don't ever for one moment get impatient. You just trust in the timing. You trust in the timing, and you don't expect that. You don't think about the how this is all going to happen. You just trust in the timing, and you truly feel how it feels to have these experiences, to be in this place where you have everything you ever wanted. And how does that feel for you? And don't get caught up in the timing, how long it's going to take. Don't get impatient. Don't think about the how. Let the universe take care of that in its own beautiful, powerful way. You just feel what you want to create and get to that place. And for me, in my experience, I'm chipping away at that by taking little steps towards that. And for me, that means moments, catching myself thinking things internally, my internal dialogue, my monkey mind that destroy or sabotage my thinking around that. When I catch myself doing that, I come back to the place of feeling. How does it feel to have everything I ever wanted and I want to create in my life? Or I come to a place where I channel my energy into one instance, one circumstance that could lead to a greater understanding, greater picture, a bigger picture. But one piece of the puzzle is where I can focus my energy on in that moment, whether it be financial, freedom, health, love, all those things, connection. Focusing on one of those aspects, if I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed, or I'm feeling in a place of disharmony, I'm feeling in a place of imbalance, I'll come back to one feeling around the nature of what I want to create as a bigger picture, and I'll focus on that. I'll just chip away at it until I get really, really good through practice, through discipline of coming to a place where I'm actually doing this work, embodying this work, so it becomes so natural to me that I'm actually feeling it, experiencing it as much as I possibly can in my waking state, and maybe even in my sleep as well. Gratitude is also a big part of Neville Goddard's work as well. And gratitude is essential, because when you feel like you're grateful for what you've created, this is what he says as well, you feel like the gratitude that you feel for what you created, even though you can't see it around you, the gratitude that you feel for what you can't see, but you feel like you've already created it, that also locks in the frequency of knowing that you already have it. You already have it. You're already experiencing it. You're already living it. And that gratitude can't help but fast track that aspect of that creative process. And I love it. I love his work. And to me, once again, it's so surprising to hear people, and I find this, for me anyway, I wonder what it would be like if people treated the wellness and health movement like the Chinese doctors do with regards to their TCM. People only give them money when they're healthy. So if you have a patient that's sick, they're not going to pay you until they're well. What would our world look like today if we had retreats where people didn't pay for anything if they came in and felt sick in some way and wanted to get something out of the retreat? But when they got something out of the experience of learning the tools and learning about the retreat, learning about what they could actually discover about themselves, or about techniques to expand their consciousness, or to improve their health, mental, physical, spiritual, or to gain some degree of connectivity, expansion, abundance, whatever that might be, freedom, health, any kind of knowledge, any kind of gnosis at all. If they came into a retreat, and rather than paying up front for something, they came into the retreat and didn't pay anything. At the end of the retreat, or when they got healthy, or when they got the most out of the technique they learned, then they paid people. They paid the people during the retreat, whatever they chose to pay them. And like in New Zealand, it's called koha, and Māori it means koha. It means a donation. You give a donation. What would our society be like if healers did that? If workshops were like that? Of course, venue hire. You got to pay for a venue hire. You take that into account. But if practitioners didn't charge people at the retreats only to cover the cost of the retreat itself, the food, the accommodation, the retreat space, but the people coming to the retreat, rather than paying up front for a locked-in amount, actually decided, or given the opportunity, I should say, given the opportunity to actually donate. And then the people that were running the retreats embodied the feeling, as Neville Goddard said, the financial abundance and freedom that they would feel, and therefore the reflection back at them would be the people giving them the finances to assist them in their own perpetuating belief that they are worthy and that the abundance flows into their lives. Just a thought. Thanks for watching, I truly appreciate it. Mā te ua. I'll see you again soon.